They had to score. They didn't score. Nathan MacKinnon summed it up kind of brilliantly. And I want to start with the overtime winning goal, Craig. You alluded to it, the pinch by McCarr. Canada has the puck in the offensive zone. Seconds later, the game is over. What happened?
Well, let me ask you this question. If you're John Cooper, what three players would you want to have out on the ice in 3-on-3?
Totally agree.
Right.
Yes.
So it's McDavid, McCarr, MacKinnon.
Yeah.
Maybe an argument could be made for Celebrini.
Sure.
But so you have those three guys out there. And certainly, it's back and forth. Connor McDavid wants to win it so badly. He's trying to do what he can. And then a play that looks like Mike Johnson talked about it. He goes, an all or nothing, 50-50 puck that's all or nothing. This is, McDavid is so brilliant. He wants to attack. He wants to get after things, and he wants to be that difference maker. You love that about him. But Jack Hughes makes a really good, strong play inside the blue line. Then Werenski, he recognizes he's up against MacKinnon, and then all of a sudden, here comes Jack Hughes flying in, and he finishes it off. And understandably, you got Jack Hughes, who drew the 4-minute penalty, took a 2-minute penalty, and then he ends up being the hero with the overtime winning goal. But you think about how close Canada was to winning this game. Mm-hmm. How many times, Jay? 15 times? I think I love what Nathan MacKinnon said. I really do. He said, you can't fight reality. And the reality of the situation was, what Canada did, and they should hold their heads high. I think they have every reason to say, we did everything but get another goal.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they did, Jay. They just couldn't find a way to get that next goal. But reality is that the U.S., at an opportune time, found a way to win the game.
And hey, Canada's been goalied before. We've goalied other countries. Connor Hellebuyck was just otherworldly. I really meant when I said Tretiak 2.0. This is a performance I haven't seen in a long time from a goaltender. And I thought it was interesting. We just heard him say, a lot of critics around my game the last few years. Kind of justifiable. He struggled in the postseason, right, Craig? And there was a narrative around Connor Hellebuyck that he couldn't win the big game. He just won the big game.
Yeah, he did win the big game. And so Nathan MacKinnon talks about the reality. You can't fight reality. Well, the reality for Team Canada on this gold medal day was that Connor Hellebuyck was simply brilliant. When you think about everything that he did in this game, we can look at the numbers over the course of the tournament. McDavid gets a breakaway. Celebrini gets a breakaway. Celebrini has so many great looks on the 5-on-3 power play. Celebrini shot the puck wide late in the game twice on power. The Devon Toews play in and around the net. I mean, it is unbelievable, all the close calls. Connor Hellebuyck made some great saves, but Canada had so many close calls in this game as well. So we talk about, being goalied, right? So we think about how Canada's ended up on the right side of things on a number of cases. So 2010, Roberto Luongo makes an unbelievable save on Joe Pavelski right before the golden goal is scored by Sidney Crosby. 2025, Four Nations. Jordan Binnington doesn't make one, but two, but three great saves on Austin Matthews, or that ends, right? How about if we go back to Dominik Hasek in 1998?
That's what people were talking about all Sunday morning.
And
right?
That's what they should have been talking about. I mean, that team in 1998 was superb. They hadn't lost a game. They get to a shootout against the Czechs and against Dominik Hasek. And you can sit there and you can look at this game. I will say this very clearly. If that same game is played, we know that the U.S. has a really talented team. I'm talking about this same game played 10 times, Canada wins that game 9 times. I'm not saying if they played the Americans 9, this game 10 times, they win that game the next 9 times. And 1980, they call it the Miracle on Ice. You know what I'm calling this one?
What's that?
The Hellebuyck Miracle in Italy, because that's what it was. Because, the USA, one of the things, I thought that they could win the tournament for 2 reasons. I said, they think they're better than Canada, and they're not scared. I can tell you what, on this golden medal day, they were not better than Canada.
No.
And they were afraid to win. They were scared. They took the Finland approach.
Yep.
We're going to hope to win, and they nearly lost.
And so is it as simple as that from a Canadian perspective? Can you hold your head high knowing, as you mentioned, all the stars had multiple opportunities? They just weren't able to convert? End of the story,
Yeah,
really.
John Cooper, I thought, made a great comment. He said, I didn't think that they could play better than the game against Finland. He said not only did they play better, they went out and gave it everything they had. And I think it was just a wonderful effort by Team Canada. And yes, hold your heads high. You listen to Sidney Crosby. You listen to Nathan MacKinnon. They have perspective. They know they've fallen short at different points in time. Connor McDavid now has fallen short. You gain perspective. And you understand that in a game, in a one game like this, you do everything you possibly can. if you draw it up, Jay, and you're the coach, and you say, if we do this, and we do this, and we do this, and we do that, we have a chance to win. They did this, that, and they had a chance to win. Unfortunately, Connor Hellebuyck was simply unbeatable. It took a perfect shot by Cale Makar to beat him for 1 goal. Other than that, he was just unbeatable. So it happens. And Canada has ended up on the right side at times in these types of games. In this one, they ended up on the wrong side.
And weirdly, I feel as good about Canada's game now as I did before the game. There's nothing about coming out of this. Nobody should come out of this game feeling bad about where Canadian hockey is right now.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Again, you're disappointed about the loss and everything that went. You want to see Canada win the gold, and certainly that is something that was the goal here for these players. But to me, I agree with you. I think you look at this game and you go, okay, other than one more goal,
yeah.
what more could they have done?